Good evening, brothers and sisters of the Imperium, and welcome back to another Chapter Master Morgan video. And this week we have my Kitbash, Roboute Guilliman, Yvraine, and Fur Baby. First of all, before we jump into today's video, I just want to rattle through a couple of orders of the day. First of all, I'm dedicating this video to Val, Chapter Master Valrak. He, at time of this video, has been in a serious accident, and I just want to say, mate, you've given myself so much joy over lockdown. I actually only discovered you over lockdown, and you really inspired me, mate. You've made me laugh. You've made me cringe at the way you can't pronounce in the English language, in the way you butcher it, being a northern wildling. And I just really hope that you get better soon. I hope your family are okay. I know this is really cheesy. I don't really care. Okay, guys, I don't care. But he's given me so much joy over the last year that I feel it's only fair to dedicate this video to him. So Val, hope you get better soon. And I hope they find a dreadnought big enough to fit you inside as well. Sorry, mate. Like, as you said, lockdown hasn't been kind to you. Anyway, I love you, bro. I love you, and I hope you get better soon. And yeah, on with the video. Second quick order of the day before we jump in is, guys, I'm sorry I haven't done a video in forever. I have been painting, I have been playing, I have just been mad with work, and I just have not had the mental faculty to sit down. It's not even the time. Don't ever make excuse about time. As I always say, I've said to people in the comments, if you love something, you'll always make time to do it. And I have been painting, as you can see. Just the video thing of sitting down and doing it has just been a bit of a struggle, but here I'm back, and not only do I have one Kitbash, but I've got another Kitbash in the pipeline and an awesome new model. So yeah, look forward to that. Anyway, on with the video. I know the first question you're going to be asking me is why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why? Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
Did I do this? I am not simping to Yvraine, alright? I'm not, but I will go through the reasons shortly of why I created this. Yeah, and I will give you the simple answer. First of all, okay, let's go through this. So, the initial idea behind this Kitbash was not even about having Yvraine in it. With a little bit of context, guys, those who have been living literally under a 40k rock for their entire lives, first reason number one is a practical reason. Oh, well, can you imagine me being an Ultramarine player? Hypothetical, practical, hypothetical. How can I make, by the way, those who don't play Ultramarines, that's our meme. That's what we say. We're super objective and super clever Chads. We are the intelligent Chads of Space Marines. First of all I was just really, when I opened Bobby, sorry, I'm going to refer to him as Bobby. Anyone who loves Roboute Guilliman, he is the Primarch of the Ultramarines, and we all refer to him as Bobby. Well, at least I do. When he arrived out of the box, he was too short on the box. The actual base you get with it, let me show it to you now. So here's the base that he sits on. And he was just way too small. I know that, you know, size shouldn't matter when it comes to a Primarch, but I've seen the size of some of the Demon Princes, and okay, I'm not saying he should have been the size of a Demon Prince, but for a Primarch, the hero of 9th edition, he was just way too small, guys. And you can see a picture of him here on a base. And to give you an idea of size, I'm just going to hold this Inceptor up. You can see he's only slightly larger than an Inceptor, and probably on his base he's probably a similar size. So you can see here that the base that he's on now is probably about twice the size of what I wanted. So the first reason that I wanted to basically Kitbash him was to make him a bigger size. He just wasn't intimidating enough on the actual battlefield. I wanted him to be surrounded by, and by the way, the second objective with this is to actually make him playable. So what do I mean by that? Like, for something to be playable, within reason, okay? If I went to a tournament with this, they'd probably be like, get lost, Morgan, what do you think you're doing with the size of that thing? But the original base that you can see there is the original, pardon me, the size base that he came on. So you get this in the pack, this, which is actually a really nice sculpt of base. I really like it, and it's a shame I couldn't use it. I wanted to integrate it, but I just couldn't. It just didn't work with what I was doing. And it does actually have the correct size base there. I can't remember off the top of my head what size it is. And I was going to put him on a big resin biscuit base, like a larger base. Sorry, by resin biscuit base, I mean one of these. This is a resin base, a cheap one you can buy on eBay. I actually used this for my Redemptor Dreadnought Kitbash. I love these bases. They're super cheap and they're really big and they look like cookies, well, white chocolate. And unfortunately, I thought, right, I want him to be playable. So the first challenge in the size was, how do I make Bobby G taller? I'm not going to elongate his limbs and make him look like he's in a mech suit, like some kind of Sisters of Battle unit. But I want him to be taller. And then I just imagined, used the power of imagination.
I tell you what, boys, what say we all take a ride on my imagination flying machine?
To imagine him standing on something taller. Originally I thought I'll cut some cork up and I'll make a big rocky base. Everybody knows that the rock, standing on a rock, is a meme. So I thought, I'm not going to do that because that's a bit too obvious. So what can I do that's really cool, that is challenging and fun to look like? What would be cool? So then, I don't know, you know, fortunately when it comes to kit bashing, I do have a pretty good imagination. So I thought, well, what if he's standing on a pile of bodies? And then I thought, well, what kind of bodies? I don't want to cut up a load of, you know, expensive miniatures. So actually, me and my friends recently were doing a little challenge where we would buy miniatures on eBay and strip them. I've got a stripping video, not of me stripping, of stripping miniatures, just a quick video using methylated spirits on my channel. If you want to see it, you can do it in under 30 minutes. And I bought a load of Khorne, original small marine Khorne berserkers, who you can see here. I think they're about 20, and I think I got them for like £10. I've given the rest of them to my friend Charlie, who's actually collecting them. And I think I probably used here maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, probably about 15. And I chopped them up and just put them in. I didn't assemble them as they were. I chopped them all into pieces and then assembled it from the ground up. But anyway, I digress. So the original reason was I wanted him to stand nice and tall on the restrictions with kit bashing. You always must give yourself restrictions. You must give yourself an objective of what you want it to look like, but also don't go too crazy, be realistic. And I thought, cool, I've got my idea now. Bobby G, standing on a pile of Khorne berserker bodies, and you're going to bring me up that that's not the correct paint scheme, but you know, I'll get to the paint scheme in a minute. And then once I'd assembled this, and to do this, I actually just, as I said, I chopped up loads of Khorne berserkers, and I basically just sculpted it from the bottom. Started off with the miniatures, and then had a head sticking out, then sculpted it onto another one, and so on and so on and so on. Slotted heads in, moved arms around, and I must say, I could only do this with the help of this really messy, stringy glue called Yoo-hoo glue, which is resin glue. It's super cheap, comes in a yellow squirty thing, and it's really stringy, really horrible to use, but with that glue you can kind of move things around. It's a bit like chewing gum, and it kind of takes about a day to set. So if you've done something wrong, then you can kind of move it. So that was the first objective, to get him standing on a pile of bodies. And I managed that. And then I thought, wow, the Bobby G, the meme magic, there needs to be some meme magic put in this. And I thought, how about I put him with his big Diddy GF, Yvraine, and her fur baby. I don't know what he's called, guys. Answer down in the chat what the fur baby's called. By fur baby, I mean the little cat. I'm sure he's not a cat. He's magical, powerful, whatever. I don't actually know that much about it. And if you don't know who the relationship between Yvraine and if I'm pronouncing Yvraine wrong, I don't care. It looks like Yvraine. The meme magic is priceless. And go and Google Yvraine and Roboute, and you see the most magical memes. Lore-wise, just very quickly, I'm going to Voldemort on you now very quickly. He fell and was put in stasis, back in 30k, and was brought back to life by Belisarius Cawl, a badass tech priest, high tech priest, whatever you want to call him, and Yvraine. And I still haven't found an audio book which goes into, or a book even, novel, that goes into detail about how they did that. I just know that this his beautiful big Diddy GF Yvraine Aeldari, I know you're screaming heresy, guys, brought him back to life with the help of Belisarius Cawl, and that was the meme. And I thought, well, there was this big area in the front. Let me just stop it for a second. Let me bring it back round. There was this big area in the front. I thought he can't just be standing. I'm just going to bring it a bit closer as well so you can see him properly. You can see some of the detail. The detail. Let me bring it back in focus there for you. There was this big area in the front where Yvraine is, and I thought, well, he can't just be standing on loads of bodies because that's a bit cheesy. Let's up the ante of cheesiness. So I bought this model, and it comes as part of another box set, which I'll drop in a little screen grab of. And yeah, and I actually saw her sculpt painted at my local Games Workshop. Big up the Tottenham Court Crew Games Workshop guys, love you. I saw it in one of their cabinets with the full model set, and I thought that is a cool model. And I'm a cat guy, I'm not a dog guy. I do love doggos, they're the best boys, but cats, I have a real affliction for cats, and I had to have the Yvraine and cat in it. Okay, somebody down in chat tell me what it is. And I thought it would be so cool if I could combine some meme magic of Bobby G and his big Diddy GF in a single model that's functional as well, that's playable, i.e. it's playable, it can be on its actual, correct base size. So that was the reason behind the Kitbash. And I did drop in a little bit there about how I actually made it. So we'll go through a little bit more about that. So that was the why, and now was the how. As we just discussed, the objective was to make him nice and tall, but you might see some other elements that shouldn't be in there as well. What is he holding in his hand? As with my Redemptor Dreadnought Kitbash video, he is in fact holding a Nemesis Dreadnought Thunderhammer. I'm sure it has another name as well. Again, anything that you can drop in. So, I don't know why, guys, but I just find the Emperor's Sword really cheesy. The Flaming Emperor's Sword, right? That's what he usually carries. He usually carries this Flaming Emperor's Sword. I don't know. Also, I don't like painting flames. I don't want to paint flames, and I find the Emperor's Sword really cheesy from a personal point of view. So I thought, well, what else can he hold? And as my very first Kitbash video that most of you will seen, I have the Nemesis Grey Knight conversion. All right, and you'll see that he's not holding the Thunderhammer that comes in the kit. He actually comes with a sword and a Thunderhammer. Jeez, you can tell that I was going to do a size comparison later, but you can see that he's carrying this sword. So originally, this was the Thunderhammer from the Nemesis, the Grey Knight's Nemesis Dreadnought kit, and I just had it lying around. So, and it took a bit of jiggling to get right for it to look like not too ridiculous. Okay, the whole thing looks ridiculous, I get that, but it's kind of, I like to think it's kind of balanced as well and beautiful. So what I did was I had to chop the hand, because it actually comes with a giant Nemesis Dread Knight hand off it, like a big fist. It comes with actually a fist in it, so you have to kind of chop the fist off, then chop the actual hand off it. There you can see it's done quite crudely, but you can see I've had to chop it into two and then attach it from the top and the bottom. The difficulty was getting it to look semi-natural, because come on guys, he is holding a giant thunder hammer, which is kind of ridiculous, but I think I've kind of just got the distance right. You can't have too much height, and you have to have a little bit coming out of the bottom, and I had to chop it into two. So that's what that giant thunder hammer is, the Nemesis Dread Knight thunder hammer. And yeah, and that did take a bit of jiggling to get right. But in the end, it looks pretty cool. I added in a few cables. I don't know whether you can see there. Again, let me get a little bit closer. I added in a few cables underneath the thunder hammer arm there. Let me zoom in there for you. Because I wanted it to look powered. These cables here are just from my bits box, a couple of cables. I think one of them is Tempestus Science Hotshot Las Pistol. The other one is from something else. I think they're both actually there. And you can see there, let me just put my hand there. You can see there that there are these wires connected to the thunder hammer, and they kind of go really well. I've painted one red and I've painted one gray. And I think it just looks much, much better for it to be powered. And that was something I actually added in at the very last minute. So that's the thunder hammer. And then the actual corn boys, let's have a look at the corn boys. I believe they're corn. Were just, like I said earlier, I don't need to go over that again. They were all sculpted, cut up into pieces, then assembled bit by bit, and just stuck on. They were so badly painted that, don't worry guys, they would have been impossible to salvage. They had multiple layers of enamel paint on them, so not even my method of actually stripping them was working. So yeah, and that's the thunder hammer there. Let's turn that in the right direction. And then the rest of it was just the original base. I bought, again, a smaller biscuit base, a rock base to go on the bottom here underneath, and the model of Yvraine and the fur baby, and that's it. And then in terms of painting, anyone that's watched my videos before will know that that's my jade fists. Every time somebody was like, okay, you bought Bobby G, are you going to paint him like an Ultramarines? I was like, hell no. I'll bring him in so you can see some of the painting detail. I've actually done an okay job on him. Anyone that's watched my videos knows that I just speed paint. I actually don't spend a lot of time on models, but I did spend a little bit more time on him, just doing some extra black recessing to really make that green pop, and just making sure that it looked presentable, because he's my statement piece. If you spend this much time on a Kitbash, then yeah. So next stage, what about the painting, as we're already alluding to that? Well, you might notice if you ever Google the Yvraine model that she's always painted very vibrantly, and I have done a degree in fine art as well. Not that I think I'm some great artist. I now do other business things and selling stuff, but color theory dictated that who is the star of the show in this, okay, in terms of painting? Who do you want to stand out? Bobby, right? Bobby's gold needs to be bling, but not too bling. Its green needs to pop. So you can't have too much color going on. So I deliberately decided to paint her in dark gray. Gray these days with Games Workshop, every paint that's called gray is called white, right? The world is upside down when it comes to Citadel paints. So I just did her in the standard white that they have now, and just with some Nuln Oil, and then obviously touched up with some gold and some other things. So the reason being that because she was a terrain piece, the other question I get is, do you play her with him? It's like, no, you can't do that. She is literally just part of the terrain feature. And I had to have them white, grey. Well, white, grey and gold looks dope anyway. I wanted it to merge, to be complementary to Bobby, but at the same time not steal his thunder aesthetically. And to do that, they have to be in subdued colours but look good as well. So that's why I chose just with Yvraine, just to give her, let me just get her in, just to give her some little red touches to the jewels in her outfit. And you might have noticed I've actually chopped off her the actual original Yvraine model, if you see, doesn't have this kind of like Princess Leia thing. She actually has exposed hips, and in the reverse, I know this is a bit simpy and perverse, but she is actually just, I've designed it so well, she just slots in there. So if I do want Bobby out, she actually does have an exposed butt at the back. And that wasn't me. I only realized that. Like, that I didn't want her to have, okay guys, I didn't want her to have an exposed butt at the back, okay? That's not what this model is about. I'm not trying to get all naughty with Games Workshop and all simping to Eldar, although definitely would. And I just basically, she comes with a giant cape that trails off the back and giant hips. But actually, her skirt pieces, this is just minus the other two pieces that it comes with. So her hips here, they have these kind of little lumps in, which are usually used to attach the trail, the cape or whatever it is, the trail. And they actually work out as really nice little gems. And she's got these like beautiful little hip pieces. So I kind of had it just like hanging off her hips. And I think it looks okay. It's a bit dodgy. And I'm glad her behind is not exposed. But yeah, it's party in the rear and business in the front with Yvraine. Anyway, and yeah, I just tried to make her really subdued. Tried to make her color scheme subdued, just gold, a little bit of red, emerald, and some white, and then some red underneath as well, just to give her a little tinge of color, but not take away from Bobby. And then I just gave her some extra highlighting here to make it look like she was downlit. So extra highlighting here, of course, on her features as well. I think we'll leave it at that. And then just a little bit of extra highlight on the cape there as well. And try not to make her steal the show, because at the end of the day, like I said, she is a terrain piece. And the little kitten, again, just same thing as you can see there. He's done in grey with some white and then some dry brushing or highlighting or whatever you want to call it to make him look nice. So yeah, that is the reason why I made it, the construction of it in terms of how I made it, and how I painted it as well, and why I painted it in the colors I painted it. And by the way, I absolutely cannot stand any blood in any models, not because I'm squeamish about blood, but a few of my mates were like, oh Morgan mate, why didn't you put blood on all of the corner? And again, for the same reason, if I put blood on everything, these little red bits on Bobby, let's bring Bobby in so you can have a little final check of the Chad King. The super straight Chad King that is Bobby G. And by the way, I hate his unhelmeted head. I love his, is it Mark 7 style helmet with the grill on it, with the laurel leaves on the forehead. I just think that helmet is absolutely beautiful, and I had to use that. I find his head, I find him a bit horsey, the head that's included. I know the light isn't great, that's better. Yeah. So yeah, that's the 3 stages of why I made it, how I built it, and how I painted it. And that is that. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, please, of any of it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's ridiculous? Do you yeah, and again, thank you for watching another Kitbash video. I've got another cool one coming up. And this has been Chapter Master Morgan. This has been Bobby G, Yvraine, and Fur Baby. Tell me who Fur Baby is down in the chat, please. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next Chapter Master Morgan video. You take care. Bye-bye.